Welcome, everybody. First in-person podcast. This is Angelo, CEO of TFT. I'm joined by Josh. He's one of our funded traders. Josh, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So we're gonna jump right into it. We've been chatting a little bit. Definitely want to start off give us a little background on who you are. Just so you guys know, we're doing a new series this year. We're starting to bring some people out, some traders to Miami. Josh happened to be in the area. Want to bring them out, want to do an in-person podcast, hear their story, ideally do a little weekend experience as well. I'm a little sick this weekend, so we're not getting into it. But yeah, let's kick it off, Josh. Give us a little bit of background on, who you are, a little bit of background on how you got into trading.
Cool. Yeah. Love to. So I grew up in Pensacola, like we were just talking about. And yeah, so I've been in Pensacola for a while. I actually left Pensacola for a little bit and moved to New York. And came back, and yeah, I've been trading for like over 6 years. Love doing it. It's a blast. I love doing it. It's like exactly what I want to do. Been wanting to do. So,
bring us back.
Yeah.
This guy's a trading legend. Let's be clear here.
For sure.
He is. We're gonna get into it. But bring us back. Before you started trading and everything.
Yeah.
Give us a bit of background. Did you go to college? This stuff.
Yeah.
How did you kind of get into it?
Yeah. So right out of high school, I was working for my dad has a restaurant, so I was working with my dad, and he's a great guy. Has helped me a lot, learning business ideas, how to deal with people, just how to be successful, really. And so worked with the restaurant, and as I was doing that, I was going through college. I dropped out. I did like 2.5 years of college, and
College dropout.
Yep. So feels good to say.
Typical entrepreneur.
Yeah,
story here.
yep. So yeah, about 2.5 years of college, and then after I left there, I actually moved to New York and helped open a restaurant that I connected with the owner and stuff like that. That was a cool experience to stay there for like 1.5 years. And then I didn't really like living in New York too much, so I really wanted to be back to the beach. So moved back and actually purchased a business in town in Pensacola, and did really well with that. Got an amazing deal when I bought it. And
what business was
it? Was a dry cleaning business.
Dry cleaning business.
Yeah,
right.
bizarre.
Guys
but
locked in.
Yeah, bizarre. But it was amazing. I took the whole approach of like, before I even thought about it, I took the whole approach of like trading into buying a business. So I already back then I already had the idea of like buying low and selling high.
Right.
And
what's the risk reward of getting into this company? Getting into this business.
So I negotiated with the owner for like months on like the purchase price and, how we're going to do it and all that stuff. So yeah, did that for like 1.5 years. Did a lot of marketing, some like cool marketing things I did that was like kind of off the wall, kind of out of the box, increased sales, and actually sold the business like 1.5 years later for double what I bought it for. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, how did you said you're like getting these businesses, you're selling them. Like, how'd you learn that that's the thing that you should be doing? Like, there's so many people that are getting into a company, starting a business, and they don't understand that the goal is to sell the company, right?
Yeah.
It's not to, be all about you, whatever. It's to grow it, to have it become valuable, and to sell it. So how did you realize, that gain and execute that?
Yeah. I think a lot of it's you got to fill out like when's a good time. Like you always got to be thinking of the exit strategy, or at least that's what I did.
Who taught you that to think like?
Man, I don't know. Like it just kind of came to me. I don't know. Just like I think just learning from other owners, businesses, and just like researching. And I don't even know where that kind of idea came from, but it just kind of came to me whenever I was like doing business. Because I before that I've owned like smaller businesses before and things like that, but nothing to that scale. So that was the biggest, business I've had. So yeah.
Nice. So you got into business, you exited one,
Yep.
and then, so you guys know, Josh got $108,000 payout with us. So he's definitely one of the top traders with the firm, which is amazing. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Appreciate
obviously.
it. 108 was my commission.
Okay.
I think the total was like, I don't know.
Whatever 80% of it is. 90%.
Yeah.
So considering that's where you're at now, right? Tell us in the beginning, like, in the beginning of getting into trading, what was the first thing that happened? Like, how'd you get involved? You bought a course, this and that, right?
Yeah. So first thing I did, I connected with this guy on Instagram and, right off the bat bought his like signals, and, funded a small account, I think it was like maybe 500 account or something like that. Was following his signals, it did good first couple times. And then, it started losing, and then I started just like doing my own trades, and just like trying it out, experiencing, see how it was going. And this is actually kind of when I got into Forex. I initially started, trading stocks and buying here and there, but it got into Forex actually when I had the dry cleaning business. And so, yeah, just once I got the signals and knew that wasn't working out, I started researching and just like learning different strategies and learning from different people, connecting with people online and Instagram and seeing what they're doing. And
right.
So it was a long process of that. And then I was like, well, I'm not learning a strategy that works from all these other guys.
No.
And so from there, I got to figure this out for myself. So I like kind of combined all the ideas and tried different things and, back and forth of just ideas. But really what clicked, I think, was the idea of looking at what the successful people were doing, hedge funds, and kind of mimicking what they're doing and kind of getting ideas from them. Because I feel like, a lot of people that are selling courses and things like that don't tend to be too helpful. You can be successful with it. But some are, basic information out there.
It's really just all regurgitating basic information.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's like there's definitely someone to sell that stuff to, for sure.
For sure.
Right? There's levels to everything, but I think that for the most part, it's a lot of basic information. There's a lot of, all that information's for free.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you really gotta like find a strategy like that you like make yourself. That's what I found for me. And so I developed a strategy that is just mine, and and it's been successful. So, yeah.
So from getting into, starting in the beginning, when did you start trading with prop firm?
You guys, it's been like 2 months now, 2-3 months now. But I've been trading with other prop firms for probably a little over like close to a year now, maybe a little more than that.
Okay.
So I started with FTMO.
Yep.
And then, so. Yeah,
the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
FTMO.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
How did you find out about it? Just through Instagram, whatever, social media?
Yeah. Lambo Raul, actually.
Lambo.
Yeah. So I actually have communicated with him. Raul. Yeah, exactly. Shout him out. Yeah. I've connected with him on Instagram, messaged back and forth a little bit. Back and forth, he had like a huge following. And yeah, I saw that he was using FTMO. I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome that you can like get that much capital.
He referred so many people to FTMO.
Yeah. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, he did.
Do you know him?
Yeah, he did well. Yeah. I mean, he had their largest payout at one point.
From you guys?
From FTMO.
Oh, FTMO. Yeah, I saw
Raul,
that. Yeah.
Out of all people, like he fucking killed it.
What was his payout? Did I beat him?
It was over. No, it was over yours. I think it was like 130, maybe.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Where he got paid 130, maybe more. I don't like. It was around that number. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So he crushed it.
It's amazing.
Which then he was one of their largest YouTube things, and then really helped them take off. Because I originally found out about FTMO like, what is it, 2023 now? So 4 years ago, right? Okay. So that was when they started becoming popular, like 2019. Mm-hmm. And at that point, they were pretty small. They were not like this, like they are. They're big now. They're pretty big.
Yeah.
But Raul and like all these influencers are really why they became as big as they are, because they did these interviews and spread the word on what's going on, everything like that. They're also very reliable, right? They've been around the longest. They have good service and everything like that. So yeah, I mean, so Lambo Raul, he got you in.
Yeah.
Got you in the door on what's going on.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that.
Before that, what were you doing?
400K.
You were doing
capital.
like your own account and stuff. Like, what were you trading before that?
My own accounts. Yeah, and actually, trade my own accounts, losing accounts, in the beginning. losing all of the money, in the account, blowing it. But then I started like being a little bit more consistent, and I was connected with like, people I knew that had, money, and taking on, somewhat of investors, taking on capital, whatever. Yeah, and I kind of have like crazy story, just like through that whole process. While I was actually in the beginning of trading, I actually started doing some other business stuff, whatever, and it went south. And I had like a really bad couple of years there. Mm-hmm. A guy that's pretty big on Instagram, I connected with him. We did like a whole funding process with me. I got a lot of capital, on credit, and we were doing some business stuff, and it all went south.
A PAM account or something? Or
no, this was actually just like Shopify, like business online selling products, stuff like that. This is like totally different business, whatever. Mm-hmm. But also I was trading some of that capital too. And literally all of that just went south. And I was in so much I was in so much debt. It was wild. Total overall like debt was like close to like $200K debt I was in. Sheesh. Yeah. And this was like close to like 2 years ago.
Yep.
Year ago.
So this guy has seen the bottom.
Oh, I have like been through it. And that's like, a lot of like kind of what I'm wanting to do like in the future is like, explain my story and like kind of what I've been through, and like, because a lot of it is like fear, like your fear sets in when you're in that much debt, and like,
oh yeah,
getting over that is like so powerful when you can get over that.
Yeah. This was before you had seen success, this debt. Yeah. Yeah. So that's even harder.
Success in trading. So I had success with the dry cleaning business. Okay. And then, you're at a high and like, it feels great. And then, something bad happens and then it's just like
spiral down.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah. I mean, similar things you have experience with trading, it's like you get a loss, and then, you start taking bigger trades. Usually, what most traders do is they get into bigger trades to recover from those losses, and just goes bad. So
yeah, like I think the way that I view it is when it comes to these failures, right? Like in business, trading business, you're gonna have a lot of failure. I've realized a ton of failure in everything that I've done. You know, even TFT. I mean, there's things that are going wrong all the time, right? And TFT, other business I'm in, and at the end of the day, I ask if you had success kind of before this hole that you were in, because when you've had success, it's kind of like, all right, this comes with the territory. I'm taking risks, right? I'm going to have this little downswing. Things are going to happen and you're going to come back. But before you've had success, when you have that type of, trench that you're in, it's very hard to come out of that. Obviously I grew what I have now from literally nothing, right? I never was given any money, nothing. Awesome. And at the point at which I had no money and I was, had failure or whatever in this, it was really just that self-belief, right? That's all that you have, realistically. There's no one that believes in you. It's just you, right? Now, as you accumulate success, there's obviously going to be more people who believe in what you're doing because they've seen you have success already, right? So you're going to start to have supporters, and that's going to definitely help to, propel yourself. Still not easy though to get out of that hole. Like thinking back, when you were in that position, what did you use to like anchor you to like kind of keep going and getting into like the psychology behind that situation?
Yeah. For sure, having the right people around you is like one solid thing. Honestly, talking it out with people is very helpful. What you're going through, sharing what you're going through. But like having affirmations and listening to the right material, like constantly throughout the day, is very key from what I found. So I have like an affirmation, book where I, write out, usually every single day. And I even like when I was like really bad, I would like have affirmations on my phone where it would be an audio where I would listen to my affirmations like throughout the whole day. So, just things like that I've found that were like successful to like, because you're negatively thinking about, you're constantly thinking about the debt or constantly thinking about the bad things that are happening in your life. And you got to switch that around and like think about the positives, think about how you're going to get through this. You're going to get successful. So that's kind of what I found. Reading materials, like listen to audiobooks. I'm not too big into reading, but like listen to audiobooks is like, very, very, very helpful to me. So.
Yeah. So tell me, are you a millionaire right now?
Yeah.
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 So, this conversation, if people are listening that you're not a millionaire or whatever, this conversation is very telling to me because I believe very similar to you. I have my affirmations every single day. I try to write them down or I recite them. There's a lot of shit going on, right? With TFT. And we can get into like some more things that I'm doing, whatever you want to talk about. And I think that you need to have, like, I look at every day as the same. We wake up, we're human beings. Every day is literally the same. We have to do things on a daily basis to keep ourselves at a level that we need to be at, right? If not, we're going to, no matter who we are, doesn't matter if you're fucking Iron Man, you're going to swing down, right? You're going to go into the trench. I'm very conscious of this and everything that we're doing. I mean, if you're in TFT, you haven't been in it for long, you know that I'm very active, right? In things that are going on because I fundamentally understand if we're very consistent day in and day out and we're not only consistent, we're focused, we're disciplined, we have the right information, we're putting the right people around us. The competition, quote unquote, the people that are, living the same 24 hours as us, it's going to be very hard for them to compete with what's going on, right? If we're simply just doing more than they are, but we're being more efficient, putting the right energy and everything like that. So I think this is very telling that you're a trader, right? This is your main income, trading right now. So you're a trader and you're very conscientious about the psyche, the daily psyche, so much so to the point where you're listening to your affirmations, right? Like I know that you're trying to get into, coaching some people and everything like that. Get into a bit more on like, besides these daily affirmations, like how do you think this helps you? This process that you're going through.
Well, before I get into it, I think that's why I came to you guys was because you guys are active and you guys have the reputation of being a great company. So, shout out to you for making that happen. That's awesome. But yeah,
appreciate that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So why it's helpful to me. It's I think just going through, and I have a friend of mine who's helped me a lot through this. But it's just that seeing myself come from where I have been, like, a year or two ago to now is just like a massive change. And it's like, it's mind blowing. And so
to the point where people like talk to you like, yo, this guy ain't the same.
Yeah.
This guy changed.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. Like that feeling. I remember I moved down here like 2 years ago and I hadn't seen a lot of my friends for a long time. And, I was down here grinding and then I went back and I saw them and they're just like, holy shit. Well, what's this guy on right now? So I can see like you're probably going through a similar type of situation. Like you're having this success and all that. And people are like, yo, what's this guy doing?
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
No, it's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. And I think you kind of touched on it. A lot of it is like looking at your emotions and yourself from like a third perspective. So like, that's kind of my coaching. A lot of it is looking at your emotions from a third perspective, and analyzing why you're having these emotions when the market's going down. And, great quote I love that I don't know where or the idea of it is like how you think when you're down determines the time that you're going to be successful. So,
that's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Quote.
So it's all about how you think about, the loss.
Dude, for sure. I think about, I'd like to think most of my days are positive these days, right? But there's days that are negative. And when we're facing those trials, right, those tribulations, I say to, my team, my people, and I'm like, listen, you know what I'm saying? This test is because what's coming is much greater than what we have now, right? We're being faced with this obstacle per se. And it's not always going to be like fucking rainbows and butterflies. You know what I'm saying? It's going to suck a lot of the time. Or not a lot of times, some of the time it's going to suck. And to your point, your attitude when it sucks, your decision to be disciplined, to follow the plan, whatever, is going to determine how long you stay in flight, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And, I think the people that are doing all these challenges and, spending the money on this stuff and that are getting into this very negative mindset. Yeah. And by negative mindset, I mean, when it comes to trading, maybe they're taking multiple trades in a row, right? They're not following the plan, right, that they put out there. Yeah. They're putting themselves in just a deeper and deeper hole. You know what I'm saying? So someone like you who's had success with the challenges and everything like that, I want to hear like some advice like for the challenge itself. Like, how do you get through?
Yeah, challenge stuff. Thing? Yeah. Obviously, so you have like the daily loss limit, I've always risked, 1-2% every trade, like no more than that. So that gives you like an extra, maybe you can max out at like 2 trades a day, So, I've been a little bit more riskier probably than what most people do, but I have like a pretty high percentage.
1% is a little risky.
It is. Yeah.
For sure.
I honestly do like 1-2% risk, whatever. But I have a high
My guys in the house are like, fuck it, I'm all in.
Yeah. But I have high confidence. I have high probability trades. So it's like, I can risk, I can do that. But, as far as challenge, just like, in the beginning, I mean, I've been through so many challenges. With FTMO, I went through, I can't even count. I know if you go and hit like show all, like it's just like challenge, like this is like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I was doing it. But it's, it's just like the first couple of years, you're like flying through them. You're like, oh, trade, and like I got to get it done. I think it's like, you're trying to be successful super fast with the challenges because you're like eager to get that capital and you're eager to make money. And it's like, especially with me, like when I was in that much debt, it's like you're trying everything to get out of debt as fast as possible. And so like that is even making it worse. You know what I mean? So it's really just slowing it down, slow down. Like you have 30 days
35
to pass. Yeah.
For us. Yeah.
35 for y'all. Yeah. It's like you have 35 days to pass it. And that's trading days, right? 35 trading days.
No, it's calendar days.
Calendars. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a little tight.
Yeah. So, I mean, but realistically, you have time to pass it. Like
you do. I mean, you could get the retry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I think majority of people, like the problem they have is just like they're trying to get through it real quickly. So that's like probably number one thing for me is just slowing down, take your time, wait for the right trade, and execute correctly. So, yeah. Follow your plan.
Yeah. So it's interesting because there's people that have like a specific strategy for the challenge, and then once they get funded, it's like a different type of ball game. For you, getting through the challenges and getting the funded account, is the approach different at all now that it's real, now that you can actually make money from the account, right? Does anything change for you psychologically, trading wise, whatever?
Yeah, both psychologically and trading style, or not trading style, but just like risking less. Because I'm starting to work with a lot more firms now, and in the next month or two, I'm taking on like actual investors, and so
that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, so it's like, like even with taking on a couple more firms, it's like a whole another psychology piece there that I've had to go and deal with. And so, it's a lot more pressure. It's a lot,
What's your top five prop firms?
Top five firms?
Yeah.
You guys, FTMO, let's see, Level Up. There's First Class. I think it's First Class Forex. I just got account from them. They do. You can max out with 2 500K accounts, so you can max out with $1 million.
I'm not going to comment on First Class.
Yeah, really? Okay, I got you. I'm not talking crap. Not talking crap about anyone, but
let's go.
I'm trying to think who else. There's so many out there. It's like
there's a lot.
I'll try to think who else I'm funded with. But yeah. Do you even know the total amount of like funding?
How many are out there?
Yeah, how many out there? Yeah.
I know.
Do you really?
How many there are? There's
many?
there's probably like 30.
Really?
Yeah. 30 that are relevant.
Yeah, 30
It's
are
a
relevant.
lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So yeah, I think that all of them have their own positives and negatives.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We were fortunate enough to get started early, right? So getting a bit, people know my story a little bit, but like getting into my story a little is, I started the trading, we started building the Instagram, right? The pages. And then we started doing some like affiliate marketing, and we partnered originally with this company called FX Seed. Ended up being a complete scam. We were an affiliate marketer for them. And in working with that company, this was probably like 2.5 years ago. In working with that company, that's when I first learned about the nuances of the prop firms and how they work. And I know you wanted to like talk about this a little bit. And that's when I realized the power of like our audience, the power of my knowledge when it came to my backgrounds in IT operations, economics. So I realized that one, I could create this company and automate everything and like have the operations run extremely efficiently. Not myself, but I generally knew the idea of how everything needed to be done, and I needed to bring the right people to help me. And then that's when this again was like 2 years ago. That's when I originally came up with the idea of coming up with the company, right? And partnering with Blake. I don't know if you know Blake at all, but partnering with Blake, who was like a YouTuber who knew specifically a lot about the industry, what people wanted. He was doing these like review videos, warning people like which ones to stay away from, what things to look out for when it comes to the terms and service and all this stuff. He's like the watchdog of the prop firm industry, because it's a very complex industry. There's a lot of like characters and everything going on. So we partnered with him and we got started 2 years ago. And then at that time, it was like us, FTMO, and my Forex funds. I'm pretty sure. Yep. There was really nobody else.
Yeah, I'm fun with them too. Yeah, my Forex funds.
My Forex funds, they're definitely a huge one too. And then obviously now there's, like I said, 30 companies. And you're saying that you're trading with like probably around 5 of them.
Yeah. Top tier as well.
Top tier.
Yeah.
Just so you're aware, I'm partnered in 9 of them.
Are you really? No shit.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So when getting back to the psychology of business, right? Yeah. With everything that I have going on, there's a lot going on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And TFT, I'm obviously the most public about, like, because it's originally my company, and I have the most involvement on a day-to-day basis with TFT. But my goal really is to stabilize all these other companies as well, and just like to your point, you're trading with all these various companies. I mean, it's more opportunity for you at the end of the day. Yeah. It's more opportunity for us at the end of the day. Like, I think what needs to happen is there needs to be this like alignment between the customer and the business. Obviously, the benefit of the positive for the customer has to be there. The positive for the business has to be there. So I saw a lot of stuff going on when it came to these companies, a lot of things that would ultimately result in failure. And I was able to kind of get in touch with a lot of them, me and my team, and we've helped a lot of them stabilize, which can hopefully result in, like you're doing, more opportunity. Like, I remember when I was trading with FTMO, I was the same way. I was like, let me buy an account here, let me buy an account there, let me buy an account here. Because when you're a trader, I mean, it's all about just getting more opportunity. You know what I mean? And having less risk, and ultimately having the funded accounts in multiple firms provides you with, less risk. Yeah. So how do you kind of think about it with like trading with all the different companies? Do you copy the trades between all of them, or what do you do?
Yeah, I do the same trades on all of them.
Oh, so you're going in.
So yeah. And it takes time. It's like with all trading with those many funds, it's like it takes like 5 minutes to place all those trades and hit the stop loss, put the stop loss numbers in and take profits and,
Which account sell. Do you do with us? Which challenge?
What do y'all have? I do the stage 2.
Royal, standard, or...
Standard, yeah.
The standard?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
The reason I
I never
is
messed with the others.
Yeah, the reason I ask is a lot of people like to use the Royal one because you can use the EAs and then you can like copy and all this stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, the standard has the more drawdown, the most drawdown, which makes it very attractive to people.
Are you open to sharing what other companies you're partnered with, or
no?
Okay, yeah, no worries. What are the maybe get into like advantages of different ones, or?
So, I think that it's not rocket science. All of them are relatively the same.
Yeah.
You know, they offer slightly different challenges, slightly different benefits. They're all at different stages. From what I can see, a company like TFT, who's much like more mature in its infrastructure when it comes to the support, the trading side of the business, the community side of the business, the team, the executive team, it can take more risks. It can just offer better service to people. Like in the beginning with a lot of these other companies, there's definitely there's just a lot of issues like that go on. Like when it comes to paying people out like on time and like all this stuff, like it's just operational issues that go on. So I would just say the positive and negatives are just kind of like, if you use some of these companies that are a bit earlier on, the goal for me is to make them as good as they can be in the beginning, but there's just going to be issues like as you're hiring and as you're getting more team members and everyone's just getting used to what's going on. And then that's where you see like in the Telegram groups, all the stuff like, oh, this company didn't pay out on time, this, and this. Yeah. And it's mostly because of like operational issues. Maybe the head of support just like is unresponsive or just not getting their job done, right? There's people behind these companies. Like it's not robots, you know what I'm saying? So people expect everything to be like, on point, and it's like, no, like there's actual people that are doing the work on these things and people make mistakes. And that's really what it is. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it's funny because people complain about the withdrawal time, right? And then I'm like, I go to crypto.com. How fucking big are these guys, right? They're huge crypto exchange. I go do a withdrawal. It takes 3 to 5 days. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm like, we're doing 48 hours, 72-hour withdrawals. Crypto.com is literally like a freaking $1 million, hundreds of $1 million company. They're doing withdrawals in 3 to 5 days. Yeah. So it's like, there's definitely, so the positive and negative are just the maturity of the company. It's like any company. The maturity of the company is going to be more reliable. Some of these ones that are more early on, just not as mature. Yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome. I know we were talking earlier, but I've always been interested in these type of companies and like what you guys use, because you're getting all this data from like other traders. Like what are you using that data for? Like, are you guys analyzing that and looking at it? Like what kind of goes in the background as far as the company?
There's a lot of data. Yeah. There is, especially with TFT because of how big that it is, and then aggregately with all the other companies, that I'm involved with. And originally when we created the company, the goal was to just like all the traders that came through that got funded, will fund them, quote unquote. We realized very quickly that the success rate of the people that even made it through to the funded account was not high, right? We've talked about the numbers, like the actual numbers, and it's kind of like 30% past phase 1, about 30% past phase 2, and then about 30% make it to the payout. So you could do the math on how many people actually are getting paid. Yeah. So for us, it was kind of like, all right, the general idea is to put our money behind these people, our money. With TFT, it really has been mostly our money. With some of these other companies, there are investors involved that are putting money up. But the general idea was like, we're going to just throw money behind all these accounts, whether we're going to make money off commission spreads or the 20%, we're doing 80% profit splits. We're going to make money that way. It became very clear that was an unprofitable business, to be completely honest with you. So it kind of changed our thinking, and it brought us to where we're at now, where we've quickly realized in the background, we've had to build a lot of tools that are not actually available because the prop firm industry is so new, right? This isn't the brokerage industry. This is very different than the brokerage industry. So we had to start to shift our mindset and build risk tools that can start to actually evaluate all the accounts based on what we put together without giving away too much information. And that can help to us decipher who should we actually be putting our money behind. Very similar to like a real institution like BlackRock, whatever, like their Citadel, like they're purchasing large amounts of data. They're putting that data into whatever predictive models, whatever type of models they're using to then come to decisions on like where they should be buying into the markets and shit like that.
Yeah.
So that's really our goal as a company, is to really become like an asset manager, in the sense that we have all this data. How can this data allow us to make better decisions as traders in the market? So yeah, we're pretty transparent about like what goes on. Like once you make it to the funded account, and I talked about this in an interview I did previously, there's really a few ways that it can go. It can continue to be like a simulated trading account, or you can actually be trading our money. Like we could be putting our money behind you. We have the mechanism at the brokerage level to choose who's getting routed to what and getting routed into the account. So the goal for us is just to hedge the traders that we deem as profitable, and the people that are not as profitable, we're not trying to lose money. At the end of the day, no one's you guys aren't getting an opportunity if we lose money. We're not getting an opportunity if we lose money, right? Yeah. So the goal is for everyone to make money. That's really what we're all in this for. And there's, from what I understand, a lot of prop firm, owners they're not as comfortable talking about this phenomenon, right? This situation that we're all in. I think that the business model is extremely unique. Like whoever originally came up with it, if it was FTMO, whatever, this idea to try people out to trade. And then, once they become on the funded account, choose what to do with the trades, where to route it. Super unique idea.
Oh yeah.
Super unique idea. Like and for the people out there that are very skeptical, they're very skeptical about what's going on, with the funding company. The business model is the goal of the company for everyone to just fail, right? That's really what everyone has in the back of their mind. And from my perspective, I think that the entire situation is really just an aggregation of data. So we just want more data. The more data we have, like TFT is cool. It's this year, potentially $100 million company, right? But
awesome.
If there is data monetization at a large scale, the company is $1 billion company. Right. Yeah. So it's like for us, there's right now, like that's the $1 billion problem that everyone has. And we're doing the best that we can to produce results given what we have. But it's a continuous learning process.
That's so interesting. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's like so insane. Cool. It's crazy.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Man. And that's cool that you open about sharing what goes on in the background. Because I told you earlier that I've tried to reach out to a few other owners and they're kind of not willing to talk about exactly what goes on. So that's pretty awesome. So,
I mean, look at it like this. If the business,
which I understand why they wouldn't.
If the business wasn't profitable to every extent, whether there's data monetization or not, if the business wasn't profitable to every extent, then there wouldn't be this many people getting into business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why are there so many of these popping up? Because everyone thinks, it's easy. Just fucking throw the challenges on the website and we're good to go. But you're going to see a lot of these companies failing because it's not as easy as that. You're seeing companies right now, they're unlimited trading time, this and that, and da-da-da. And their expenses are going to balloon. They're going to be in a bad position financially. The payouts are going to be too much. They're not hedging. They're not doing anything trading related. And they're going to be in a bad position. And it just is, it's the nature of business. Some businesses are going to be successful and some are going to fail. But in an industry where there's a lot of money to be made, like that's why you're seeing so many businesses. And 2023 is going to be like super interesting to see which ones survive and which ones fall apart.
Yeah. Do you know of any companies, prop firms that have already failed?
I mean, there's one that's the most public. I don't know like any that are ongoing that are struggling. I will speak on that. There's one that's very public. It's called Funding Talent. They failed about 2 years ago. And from what I can assume, they just failed because of like operational failures. Like their technology wasn't working the way that it needed to be. Accounts weren't being monitored. They were just bleeding costs like all over the place. And then ultimately that led to them, failing as a company.
Do you know anything about Astro FX? Do you know?
I mean, I know of all of
they had
that.
a program similar to a prop firm.
Yeah.
Did something similar like that happen with them? Or
all I'm gonna say is I was approached by a guy that I know like how they were set up.
Okay.
That stuff was a scam.
Scam,
Like,
really?
Yeah. Like I don't know if Astro's scam. I won't say they are, but like that system I believe is very flawed. And yeah, like what was it? You had to pay money or something like 5,000.
Yeah.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I did. Yeah. Well, I did it mainly just for the connection because I actually met up with Sean Lee and Amon, like in person or whatever. They did like an event. And so Joe, who was kind of like because they set you up with like a coach, I guess, that you meet with like a couple times a month or whatever over Zoom, and they go over your trades, and it was helpful to have him. Joe's a really great guy. I still keep in contact with him.
You didn't go to the Mayfair office, bro?
No, I didn't. No. Was planning to, but then things went south and didn't make it over there. But
I mean, I don't know the full story, but it seems like there was a lot of things going on with them. So, but they were like an inspiration.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They're like one of the top guys that I like looked up to or still look up to. Like they're,
Yeah. Shout out Sean Lee.
Yeah.
Wherever the hell he's at.
Yeah. I don't know where he's at, Thailand or I don't know where he's at right now.
Yeah. Very interesting guy.
Yeah.
Like the trading industry is just super interesting because it's full of like things in so many directions. Like there's the extremely conscientious people that are very like in tune with themselves. Oh, sorry. Very in tune with themselves. And then there's the greedy people.
Yeah.
Just really greedy. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's definitely been hard to navigate like who to network with and who to do this with. Yeah. Like for you're trying to build a little following now, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I know there's a lot of people out there that are also trying to do this. What's kind of your thought process trying to go through, building this out?
Yeah. I think just connecting with the right people that have the right ideas, or at least the same, like not right ideas, but just like ideas that match mine, connect with the right people that are, along the same path as me. I think my whole idea is developing a training program around mainly psychology. And my whole thing is about balance. And it even gets into my strategy is all about balance. So I use a order flow volume indicator, and it's all about balance. And so I look at that like personal balance, and then balance within the market. So, but the psychology and mental preparation and things like that is like most important. I found to be in trading. So, I want to, partner and connect with traders that have that same idea. So,
yeah. So from my perspective, when it comes to, you're obviously successful with trading, there's not a crazy amount of people that are having the success that you're having. So there's credibility there.
Yeah.
I've always loved the idea of the prop firms because I'm a third party verifying your results. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no doubt that you got paid. You got paid by us. Or we paid you. A lot of these people on Instagram, you don't know if they got paid by trading. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's tremendous power in these new group of people who are trading with the prop firms who are making money. They have a lot of credibility in my honest opinion.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think that that's very important. It's a good point to like harp on. And at the end of the day, like when it comes to, we talked originally about building a business, scaling it, selling it. The best way to sell products, to create a business, is by first creating a community. The only way to create a community is to give shit away for free, right? And to give away your time, right, at the end of the day.
And I was going to ask you about that because I've been just recently looking at your Instagram thing. Like, you do a lot of giveaways, right, through the company? It looks like through Instagram stuff. Can you touch on that? I haven't looked into it. Yeah,
too much.
A little too much, really.
A little too much. I think last year we gave away like $100,000 in giveaways.
Really? No way. That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's the whole purpose of it is just to create engagement. At the end of the day, we leverage it to whether it's like help with our posts or I a lot of times I'll like run a survey, I'll do this. You're really just doing call to actions to get people to participate, and then benefits them because somebody wins, benefits you because you're getting feedback or you're getting some more engagement on your posts, stuff like that. So, if I were to go about building a community or whatever, I would definitely be leveraging giveaways, and I would just be trying to bring people into like one centralized place, whether it's like a Telegram or a Discord, something like that, and then you can be in touch with them in there and build a sense of connection. Because I think a lot of people get they get ahead of themselves when it comes to trading and like business, and they're just trying to skip the steps. Like they're trying to sell the product from day one because they think it's about them. Like they think they're the man, I'm the man, like buy my shit.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, everyone wakes up every day and they're the protagonist of their life. Yeah. They wake up, it's about them. Each of us, it is. But maybe one day you sacrifice the day for someone else, but the next day you wake up, it's about you. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to products and like selling shit, like you need to realize that it's about them. Like, how do you make it about them? You're making a product for them. It's not for you. Yep. You know what I'm saying? You're doing all of this for them. And if you could build that connection and make that very clear, people will get behind what you're doing, in my opinion. Because if it's not about them from you, they're going to say, oh, fuck this guy, and go somewhere else where they're making it about them. Yeah. Because that's what it's all about. So yeah, like that's my general advice for you is like, just build a community. Obviously you have credibility with your thing. Yeah.
I love the piece that you said, building it around them. Like that's my whole goal, is to help other traders be successful. And so, I want to share, how I became successful and like what I learned through it. And hopefully they, can learn as much as possible. And so, I haven't, nowhere near finished the training program that I plan to put out, and it's going to, once I get feedback and things like that, like we're just starting putting out like basic information on our YouTube. And, it's, just have like one video out now, so it's like, so, slowly putting things out and, more advanced stuff and things like that coming soon. But, it's, I like the PC, so, yeah.
It's exciting. Cool. It's exciting, man. Yeah. Going on a new journey. At the end of the day, there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds like, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people they're curious what the trading strategy is that you use. You said you use the volume, indicator. Yeah. What else kind of goes on with the system? You don't got to give away too much because I know, how it is.
Got the idea a little bit from thinking about hedge funds and kind of how they trade and things like that. So really, from what I've seen, successful trading is monitoring order flow and looking at volume, and when the volume picks up and things like that. And so that's what I look at. And interesting, I heard a talk recently, actually, and this lady described day trading as the theory of mind. And so, I'm constantly thinking about like, when are retail traders getting into the market? What are they thinking about what the market's going to do? And then, I'm thinking about like, how is the market going to get those traders out of their trade and go the way that the traders thought it was going to go? And so you're always thinking about what other traders are doing. That's kind of how I've, thought about trading. It's the theory of mind.
It's not easy.
It's not, It's not, that. So you're constantly watching orders come through, and I have, basically a strategy that I put together with monitoring order flow and volume coming in through the market. So yeah, that's it. And, I've been through indicators, other indicators, all the other indicators, they're all lagging indicators. When you're watching order flow, you're seeing what is coming into the market. You're in tune with like what's going on. When you're watching like moving averages or things like that, it's like, you're getting past data of what happened previously in the market, and it's just telling you what happened. That's all it's really doing. So, that's my.
It's not very useful.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be useful. Yeah, you can
I
get
think
some
the order
direction,
flow, I think
but
when I was still trading a bit, I was using some like the VWAP tool and like stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I was looking at order flow,
Yep.
and I found that to be, like, to your point, the most accurate
Yeah.
information.
Yep.
At the end of the day, to be making decisions on. It was not discretionary. It's like, all right, the market, there's a lot of orders sitting at this level. Potentially,
Exactly.
there's going to be a lot of participation. Should I get in? Should I get out? Where should I exit? Based on the bands, stuff like that. I think that it's a very, they call it institutional trading, right? And
Yeah.
that's the word that they use.
Yeah.
It's a lot different. Now, did you always trade like this, or originally you were just using, TA and
No.
stuff? Or
Yeah. Basic like supply demand. Just like simple. Started with something like that, and
which is
trend
kind of
line.
like order flow a bit, the supply and demand. But
Yeah,
it's like
true.
a dumb man's
Yeah.
version.
Exactly. Yeah. You're just like looking at like candlesticks of where you think supply demand is. When you're looking at these indicators, you're actually getting data of like when the market picks up and things like that. And my strategy is around, like I said, balance within where the orders are. And so if you think about that, the daily, high and low volume areas, that's kind of how I look at it.
So we talked about coming from the bottom, right? And then having success. Now, obviously, you're in a better position. How calculated are you with like your next moves when it comes to like the prop challenges, business, right? Like, what's your outlook now that you're sitting where you are now?
Yeah. I think, obviously, I think having time is like most valuable possession. And so with trading, you're like you were saying, it's constantly monitoring it. It's like a full-time job, more than a full-time job.
Oh yeah.
And so, my idea is to kind of monetize that a little bit and, calculate it. Like I plan to take on personal investors coming here soon, probably middle of the year. Part of that
what's the benefit of that, just from your perspective?
benefit of that is,
yeah.
so I'm going to be lowering my risks a good bit, like a lot, so that I can take on this capital, and I'll be hiring employees and things like that to help me, manage that. But the plus side, from what I've seen, it is working with brokers directly and getting commission off of, because I'll be managing their money for them. So the more money I bring to the broker, and I'm managing, how much buying they're doing throughout the day, then I can get commission off of the broker. And that's like, that is consistent money that's coming in.
Now, how much money are you talking, like in investors' money, like over 10 million or no?
Yeah, I mean, minimum investing, will be 25,000. That's like minimum, but I won't be shooting for that low. Like, so yeah, I'll be dealing with big investors. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be pretty exciting when that does happen. So, still in the beginning process, way down the road, looking at doing that. So, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. So
that's one thing. And then the prop firm stuff, you're going to obviously keep doing that.
Yeah. Keep going.
Keep going with it.
Yep.
And so you said that there's obviously been a lot of failure with the challenges and there's been success. And I think people need to hear that, because it's not like you just figure it out, right? Even when you get an funded account, it's inevitable that you're going to lose it at some point. There's going to be a bunch of losing streak, whatever. Yeah. So what's your thought process behind like buying challenges versus the funded accounts? Like the risk reward on that? Like, do you budget for buying challenges? Like, how do you go about it?
Yeah, obviously set yourself a budget. Like the same thing with like loading up an account with capital is like, only risk what you're willing to lose. Obviously don't, risk money that you don't have or, need for a month or two, So, definitely wise thing to do is save up, you know, have savings put away. And even before you become like totally independent and trade full time, you know, have like, you know, months worth of savings put away in case, you know, you do go through, you know, bad couple months, you know, something crazy happens, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, setting yourself up and being safe with it, you know, and not making drastic decisions, things like that is yeah.
What's the most amount of money you've lost in one day?
Yeah. So
Bad day.
yeah, bad day. Yeah. I've lost over, it was like close to 160,000 in a day.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty crazy.
And like, how did you, what did you feel like after that?
Oh man.
It was more than I've lost in one day.
Yeah. I was actually on a trip. It started happening that morning. And you know, I was over risked, like totally over risked, you know, just like, this is like 2 or 3 years ago, whatever. I was so over risked, and, I just kept like buying more, you know, just like just being stupid with it. And, yeah, you know, just like you hope for the best, you know what I mean? When you're not thinking correctly, you hope for the best, which is so wrong thinking, you know what I mean? And so
that's when you lose.
Exactly.
That's when like, it's all lost.
I think it's going to work out. You know, it's like, no, like
that's so hard to swallow. Like,
and you got to think third perspective, you know, like I touched on, like think about your emotions and like think about what you're thinking about, like get in tune with the market and feel it out. And so, yeah, I was down a good bit in that morning, and I was actually flying to Miami. On the flight, it was going down. Actually, when I got on the plane, it was going up. I was like, oh, yes, this is it. And I got off the plane. It's like, shoot. Like, it was down a ton. Got in Miami. Like, and yeah, like I stayed up like all night. And I stayed up all night because I was in the trade for like 2-3 days. I stayed up all night the night before too, just like watching it, which is so stupid. Like watching it.
Dude, you were watching your
constantly,
demise.
Just like, yeah, you're just like, that's so stupid. Like, you know, just, oh, it's so stupid. Like,
oh my God.
Just watching yourself crumble and lose that much money.
Think about
all night, just like dumbest thing ever.
I've been in the same situation, like how shitty that feeling is.
The worst, yeah.
And then why, like, I'm the same way. Like, why do we subject ourselves to do that again? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's like crazy. Like, I'm trying to understand, like, the people that are trading are just like the riskiest fucking people.
Yeah.
They're just addicted to risk.
Yep.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very much like, I love risk. You know, I'm all in. Yeah. I don't gamble though. Do you gamble?
No.
No. Okay.
I mean, you know, have fun, a little bit of money.
I think in college I lost like $5,000 sports gambling.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh, I got to be out.
Really?
Like,
yeah.
And I wanted to do more. I'm like, oh, this is sad.
That's crazy. That's wild. But no, I think, you know, going through something like that, losing that much money, you know, propelled me to, you know, you have to go through those hard times to like, you know, to get, you know, dude. You're where you are. Yeah. So, yeah.
When you're in finance, it's the reality of the situation is you're going to lose money.
Yeah.
That's really, it is what it is. So you just got to be prepared for that situation. But obviously when you're losing 160K, I think the most I lost in like one trade was 100K. And I'll never forget when I lost the money, I called Carlos, who's a partner of Funded Trader. Yeah. I was like, hey man, like lost 100K. Yeah, I was expecting like, I didn't know like what the response was going to be. Yeah. He's like, oh, nice write-off.
Nice write-off.
Oh my God, this is the guy. Yeah. This is my guy. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Because it's going to come back. I mean, I was like, if I'm losing 100K,
he was nice about it.
There's got to be money coming.
Right.
Like, at some point.
Yeah.
So I just don't keep losing.
Like, man. That's funny. How'd you feel afterwards?
So it's at that point I felt a bit numb to what was going on. I was more so disappointed because there was more people involved, you know, my team. And I'm like, you don't want to let the team down,
Yeah.
at the end of the day. You don't want to make decisions that are going to let the team down, and knowing that didn't put a real like barrier, like, like a bad thing between us, definitely strengthened, our partnership, in from my perspective.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, like the biggest thing, like trading is so individual, you know what I'm saying? Like it's you taking the trades, but I think if you can build it up to the point where you maybe have a team that's helping you do the analysis, whatever, I just think in anything, like having a team is the best way to go about things.
Cool.
You're not gonna be able to figure everything out yourself. And trading is very much like a monstrous ego game where it's like it's about my decisions and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because I'm like, it's just such an interesting thing because every other business is kind of like team. Like have employees, have your partners, have this and that. Trading is just you.
Yep.
Right. So you were saying maybe build a team and like help you manage the money, the fund or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you think these people would do for you?
Yeah. So, my idea is kind of to diversify a little bit. So I'll be actually placing the trades and actually calling the trades and things like that. But, so I have a fund that I'm basically growing and basically going to diversify basically. So I'll be going through training program with them to develop psychology and mental preparation into taking on risk and to, investing and things like that.
So it's kind of like a prop firm in a way.
In
like
a way,
coaching these people to potentially manage money for you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And so, I'll be hiring, people that will be interested in real estate or, stock market or, options or different things like that they can really hone in on and research, a lot in something they're, excited about learning. Passionate about. Yeah. And so helping them excel and exceed in that, is like my goal. So
interesting.
Yeah.
So you're trying to build like the super team.
Yeah.
Business.
Yeah.
Business people. Interesting approach.
Yeah.
I think that it definitely has potential. Like, I think any business is fucking hard, man.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, you start a bakery, that shit's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think starting a fund and like having strategies to put the money into, whether it's real estate or whatever, is it's gonna be the most lucrative. It's also gonna be extremely difficult. But at the end of the day, everything's difficult.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So tell me, given, you have quote unquote time freedom to an extent, right? Like how do you like to spend your time now when you're not trading and stuff?
Yeah.
Give some inspiration for the people.
Yeah. I love cars.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah. I rented a Cullinan.
I literally knew when I pulled up, I'm like, this is
him.
This guy rented the Cullinan.
Yep. Yep. So it's that car is smooth, man. Like I was very surprised on how much I liked it because I'm more of a exotic, sports car, like, Lambo, like, I just bought a C63S Mercedes.
Nice car.
Yeah, very faster than I was thinking it was going to be. So I'm more that speed, but man, this thing is smooth, like super nice. Honestly, see myself getting something like that, like down the road.
It's made for a driver.
Yeah.
You have a driver, sit in the back.
Right.
Have a little drink. You know what I'm saying?
So
it's a nice car.
Yeah.
It is.
But no, I love cars. I love driving. I like the experience of driving. So I think that's why I like Lamborghini so much and just, how they feel and things like that. I love traveling. So definitely want to just like continue to travel a lot, overseas and experience things. I love experiencing new things and things like that. So, yeah, that's me. That's
you got the travel bug.
Yeah.
Me as well. It's like so difficult though to when you're in business and this and that to try to do it often. You know what I'm saying? I try to. I think last year I traveled too much. I traveled once a month, but it wasn't like crazy places. But like I was traveling a lot, and I'm like, this year I got to be better about being organized about traveling.
Really? Do a little less or just like
do a little less,
organized?
be more calculated with like where I'm going and stuff. It was a lot more impulsive.
That's a good goal. That's good. once a month. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when you get into a situation where you do have the time freedom and the freedom to work wherever,
Yeah.
you got to then learn like how to fucking manage that.
Yeah.
It can be a lot.
It's difficult. Yeah. You would think that it would be pretty easy to just like,
no, that
set up,
self-management is not.
It's actually pretty difficult because I was actually just in New York, like 3 weeks ago, and it's a whole nother level when you're dealing with like that much money and then like traveling on top of that, and it's like, man, it's like I was there for like almost like a little over a week, and yeah, it's like traveling. It's like very difficult to trade while you're traveling because your whole daily routine is totally messed up. It's totally off. You're not doing things you usually do in the morning and, at night, and preparation for the market and things like that, different living experiences, so it's and time zones, it's kind of messes you up a little bit, but it's very difficult to trade while you're traveling.
I agree.
So
I agree. Like from my perspective, it's just the traveling, like, cause I'm very routine based, like discipline my routine.
Yeah.
So then after you're doing the routine for X amount of time, it's just like you gotta switch it up.
yeah,
So you gotta travel, experience something new, and then you come back and you're like, oh, this is great.
yeah,
like back
glad to be back in the routine. That's how I felt. Yeah,
it's fantastic. Like I can't just go 6 months routine, like not travel. Like
yeah,
I'll go crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's obviously nice being down here in Miami. Just being in an overall beautiful place, beautiful city, amazing people. So I think as an entrepreneur, like this is definitely like a hub to be in.
yeah,
The city has its positives as well. I think the winter is a bit dystopian with the weather, but
yeah. Why is it so cold here right now? Like
right now
goodness.
it is. Yeah, you came on a bad weekend.
Goodness, yeah,
Yeah, you came on a bad weekend. It's like 50 degrees out or something,
Yeah.
like 60 degrees.
we're gonna try to go to a like a day party, with the pool and stuff like that. But like, man,
About to
like,
freeze.
Yeah, it's crazy. But
Yeah.
I love Miami. Like
If
one
you
of my
could
favorite
live
city.
anywhere,
Like
where would it be?
in U.S.
Anywhere.
Yeah, Miami. Like
Anywhere.
anywhere. I don't know. Like I've been to Dubai. Dubai is pretty cool. I don't know if I would live there like full time. Like, but Dubai is such a cool place. Like I really liked it there. Honestly, don't know. Like I think I would like Singapore. I haven't been to Singapore yet. But do you have a
Mine
place
would
you'd
be
like to-
Bali.
Bali?
Yeah, I want to try to live there to some
be cool.
extent this year, a little bit.
I think I would like there. I plan on going there this year, like middle of this year. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it seems like a cool place. It seems like you could live like a king there.
Yeah,
for pretty cheap
right.
too, which is
Yeah.
nuts.
yeah,
So I'd definitely like to live there. Hopefully this year. That's one of my
cool,
goals.
nice.
What's give me like long term, like what's some of your goals, like financially? Financially, just throw them out there.
Honestly, don't have like number wise goals. It's more just like, and I kind of have a idea around it. It's like I want to become a certain person that will be doing these things, and so I feel like that helps me get to those next levels.
Interesting.
More than just having like, I want this number, and
If you
so
chase the number, it'll never come.
I think that's kind of what I've learned. So I think
But if you were to say a number,
a number,
what would it be?
yeah. I would love to be up, with the big hedge fund number wise,
We're talking billions.
Yeah, talking billions. Yeah, for sure.
Billions.
I would love to be up there. But man, I think about like all the different like hurdles they got to go through.
Think of it like this, bro.
Like
if you go from $0 to $1 million, what gain? That's like what percent gain is that?
oh yeah,
It's crazy.
crazy. Yeah,
Going to $1 million to 100 million. That's a far less of a jump.
less of a jump. Yeah,
than going from 0 to $1 million.
Seriously.
You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is like, if you can make $1, you can make $1 million. You can make $1 million, you make $100
So
million.
true. And like, I feel like I've already done the hard work. Like that's now it's just executing. Just
We got the next Ken Griffin here.
yeah, yeah. So
No, I think
We'll
that
see.
I think that for me, when it comes to like financial goals, I throw in my mind, I'm like, if remain in the game of capitalism, because this is a game. This thing we're playing is a game.
Yeah.
If I remain in the game of capitalism, there's no reason why I couldn't become worth as much as $1 billion. But there's gonna be a point where I might not want to play anymore. And I don't know
I feel
when.
the same way, yeah.
You know, I don't know when that's gonna be, whether there's a break, whatever. But like when you're really going in, when you're really going hard, it's like you just know this isn't it forever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You gotta just step away at some point.
And like if you look at all that hedge fund owners, I mean, they're very private guys. You know, like when you're at that level, like and that much money, like you got to be private. I mean, like you know, you're not stepping out there, you know, and
well, it's so interesting because like the world we live in is so public. You got people putting their babies on the social media, this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so public, everything. And obviously, when it comes to like the other generations, it's not as public because they're just not as ingrained with social media.
Yeah.
Like we're so ingrained with social media, it's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about social media? Like you're obviously trying to build with it. How do you feel about it overall?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like just now like getting into it. I should have been doing it for years. But you know, it's my whole goal is just to help other people, you know, learn how to be successful, you know, in trading. Really, just to be successful, you know, with whatever they're interested in and things like that. So, you know, but I'm obviously traders. You know, I'm definitely passionate about trading. So, but yeah, you know, social media, I enjoy it. It's like
what
you know,
do you think it's for? Like, I'll give you my honest opinion. Like, you're gonna
my
try to
goal,
build,
yeah. It's just to
seems like you want to use it for business,
just to reach other people.
Yeah.
You know, just to get a following, reach people, so I can help more people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same for you, or what do you think?
Well, yeah, I think it's a tool, like something to use to garner, you know, an audience, to create a product, create an influence, whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's for the most part pretty fake. You know, social media is just what people want you to see.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. People try to like, oh, I'm being honest this year, this and that. I'm like, dude, like this isn't it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that if you use it correctly, you can leverage it and have a positive impact on people, on yourself, on your business, on stuff like that. But it's just, don't think it's real. Like this is real.
It's all just gaining attention.
This is reality. This is real life. You know what I'm saying? Don't get lost in what you see on there. It's not. Everything ain't as good as it seems.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I think people get lost in that. I mean, for me, it's been great because it's been there. I use it as like an inspiration. Like I'm like, holy shit, these people are driving this car, this and that, and it did make me think differently to use my ambition and to work harder and to try to attain these things. But I think a lot of people are just getting lost in it. You know what I'm saying? And like they're just like wallowing in it and like, oh, I'm not as good as this and that. And even traders, like, man, I'm sure a bunch of them are like looking at traders on there like, yo, this guy's so successful, looks like this and that. And a lot of these people aren't. It's fake. A lot of it's fake.
Yeah.
And that's why I say someone like you who's like verified by us, by a third party, it's real. It's not it's not fake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So hopefully that can help change the game a bit. But you know how people are. They see Lambos, they see houses, they see like hot women. They're just like, want to follow this guy.
Right, yeah. But they just spent like, a week in, wherever, rented a car for a couple of days and took tons of video and photos.
You have some money, rent a car, get a spot, get a yacht, get girls. It's like, it's just people gotta
content for a year,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yep.
So like,
what's your goal with the company? Like long term, do you have a number?
So I think that with everything that we're doing, our goal, is like next year, our goal is to do 50 million in payouts. Like obviously if that number's hit, the company's going to be worth X amount of money. You know what I'm saying? So I look at like what we're doing very similar to, not like similar to Barstool in the extent of like what kind of company they are. But if you look at Barstool, like they grew an audience, they grew a community, a brand, and then it got to the point where it became very valuable. They garnered a lot of influence. They were diversified in a lot of different sectors of the industry.
Cool.
And then Portnoy, you know, got bought out, but he still is like relevant, and he still works on the company because he's passionate about it. So I'm like extremely passionate just about the industry, about prop firms, about trading. And if we can grow it to a certain point and have somebody come along that's the right partner that would buy it, I think that would be like a very worthy thing to work. That's a very worthy thing for us to work towards. Like it's obvious, you know, you know what I mean?
Exit strategy.
Yeah. I think we talked about it. Any company you get into, guys, like you should be trying to exit. Even trading. I mean, grow a book of investors, grow a book of people that are, you know, invested in your, whether you start a hedge fund or private equity, whatever kind of firm that you start, maybe you start a brokerage, you know, maybe in your case, instead of going to brokers, you just start your own broker and you are your own broker. And then you just get liquidity providers and you're just managing funds internally. It's very actually attainable path for you when it comes to trading like that. So yeah, for us, it's the same thing, but there's a long way for us to go, I think, before that becomes like a reality. There's also a lot of money for us to make before that becomes a reality. Like I think right now we're all very much aligned with just trying to continue to make it as good as it can be, and just learn, you know.
That's cool.
There's a lot to learn with any business, but
you
know.
Trading industry, do you see any movements within the industry as far as like businesses, or you know, you see things moving this way or that way, or anything within the prop space or anything like that?
So when we started 2 years ago, I remember talking with brokers and telling them about what we wanted to do, and all of them were very against it. They were not into it. You know, they were not loving the idea of the company. And now it's very much the opposite. Brokers are trying to get in. They're trying to get their own. They're trying to help out. They're trying to meet up. They're trying to fly us out. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a whole 360 effect. So I think the industry is just going to continue to trend towards things built around prop trading. I think prop trading is like the future. There's a lot of money in it for us. There's a lot of money in it for the traders. It's a very, very interesting game that's being played. So yeah, that's kind of where I see things continuing to head down. Like I think some of the bigger brokers might get in. Like who knows? Like what if the funded trader becomes as big as FanDuel? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what if there is a situation where it becomes a bit more national? It's kind of nuts.
That's cool. AI, like
a guy wants to bring up AI.
Yeah, so because that's an interesting topic that's like, you know,
looming.
Yeah, and like rapidly coming to our faces, you know. Do you guys utilize that within prop firms? And you know, you're getting all this data, like
right.
Or do you see it going that way? Or
I think so. I think that when it comes to like the brokerage business, a lot of them have stayed away from AI and stayed away from those type of models to utilize the data to create monetization. But this is a new world that we live in. We're young, you know, we're very much interested in how it can help us. And I think there is a lot of use cases for it, like feeding the data through it and seeing how a model could potentially predict where we should be allocating our money. I think that that's very much something that we should be using without, you know, selling what we're doing or whatever. So
that'd be interesting. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, you build that, again, that's just it's a proprietary thing that you have that people would pay a lot of money for.
Yeah. That'd be huge.
You know?
So I know, what is it? Blackstone, I think it is, or who is it?
Was it Aladdin?
They have a whole AI, you know,
Yeah.
kind of chess piece type kind of.
I think it's called
AI.
Aladdin.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Really?
I think they have a software or service called Aladdin.
Mm.
I forgot exactly what it does, but it's like a risk tool where they
Okay.
sell it to businesses and they're able to plug it in to, I guess, manage their cash flow or something.
Yeah.
But that's really what it is. And I'm pretty sure, is it Blackstone or BlackRock? I don't know.
BlackRock, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, BlackRock. So
Yeah.
one of our partners, shout out Santi, he just started and he worked at BlackRock.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was in risk.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he's
Cool.
like a freaking beast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. So he's helping out with a lot of the stuff behind the scenes. Because, like, man, I'm not by any means the smartest guy in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of smart people out there. We just got to put them to work.
Yeah. It's all about putting the right people on your team and around you
Yeah,
and have all the right information. Yeah. It's cool.
yeah. Like going back to you is about what are the sources you're getting your information from? What are the indicators? Was this? What companies are you working with?
Right.
Are you working with a company that's a scam? You working with a company that's actually fair? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's all things that you got to be worried about, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. For sure. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, dude, we've been at it for a minute,
Yeah.
for a long
It's been
time.
good, man.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been a good pod. First one in the books.
Yep.
So let's wrap it up.
Cool.
And dude, appreciate you
it.
hopping on.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
It's been
Appreciate
been a pleasure.
Definitely. Thanks for having me out here.
Let's go. Well, is there anything you want to say, like where to follow you and stuff?
Yeah. Follow me on Instagram, _Josh Lee, and you'll see me on there. So
The new Sean Lee.
yeah.
Let's go.
That's right.
All right, I think we're good.
Sweet.